Hi everybody, this is Josh Culp. We are learning Bava Kamma, Daf Pei Chet. A lot of this daf, especially the second half of it, is about the property that the woman brings into a marriage and about her ability to sell it and about what's called Takanat Usha, which comes up later on. And I wanted to go over a little bit about some of the rules, the backgrounds of the rules with regard to dowry. Again, I want to emphasize, as I have many times, these are rules. It doesn't mean that, like, in real life, people actually followed everything according to this letter, but these are the rules that at least are there according to the law. When a woman is married, she brings in her property that's hers, not that hers her parents, is part of her dowry, and it's usually divided into two parts. And I'm going to explain what those are in a second. But the importance with considering this her dowry is that the husband has a certain amount of responsibility to make sure that upon divorce, she is restored to her property. In other words, when she gets married, it's true that her husband has a sort of a hold on her property, and if she should die before he does, he will inherit her. However, her property is still hers. So we should keep that in mind when we say, like, women don't have a right to property. Some of these absolutes I hear from students or from people about Talmudic law are not exactly true. And the other thing to keep in mind is we're only talking about a married woman. Independent women, non-married women do have full ability to own their own property according to Talmudic law. But in marriage, it becomes part of their joint assets, at least temporarily. And there are two types of property a woman brings into marriage. One is called nichse malog, and the other is called nichse tzon barzel. The sugya here is talking only about nichse malog. So I'll explain nichse tzon barzel very quickly. Nichse tzon barzel, which literally means iron sheep, are things that she has the right to receive upon dissolution of marriage at the value in which she entered the marriage. Whether the value goes up or the value goes down, she has an absolute right to that value when she entered the marriage. Should the property value go down, the husband will have to restore it to her at the original value. In return, the husband has absolute use over nichse tzon barzel. He can sell them, he can do whatever he wants with them. Basically, the title of the original value is hers. He owes her that money upon dissolution of marriage, and meanwhile, he can do whatever he wants with the property. It seems like most property, though, fit into the other category, which is what we're talking about over here, called nichse malog. And nichse malog are property that when she enters the marriage, she has title to, but he can use usufruct. I've used that word a lot. Usufruct just means the use of the property. So if it's land, he gets the produce. If it's an animal, he gets to work it. Such things like that. I mean, the easiest thing to do is with the land, because it's easy to separate the land from the interest that it earns. Today, it's a little bit like a bank account. So that's what our Gemara is really interested in. The husband's grasp on that nichse malog property. And it talks a lot about, you might be confused with a woman selling property that he has a hold on. So selling property, selling her ketubah is a little bit like sort of selling future rights to her ketubah. The ketubah is a debt document that if her husband dies or divorces her, he owes to her. So if someone buys her ketubah, what they're essentially buying is the rights to that property should the husband divorce her or die. So if you saw a husband who's like 95 and his wife is 20, it happens, the ketubah is going to be worth more because it's very likely that the husband will die, have to pay the ketubah, and then the person who bought it will get that ketubah from the woman. If the woman is 90 and the husband is 20, probably happens a little less, it's very unlikely that she'll ever get her ketubah because she's old and she will likely die before her husband, in which case their husband will inherit all of her property and there'll be nothing to do. And the people who bought it will not get any property out of it. And that's what our sugya is talking about, the rights to the usufruct. How much does that mean that he actually owns the property. So I hope that's a helpful background. It's a challenging daf. I admit people often have trouble with the money trail and with liens and with joint ownership and with basically repossessing from purchasers. I know people have trouble with these kinds of sugyot, but economic rules are really what make our society go around, and the Talmud is interested in a lot more than just prayer and kashrut and Shabbat, as you know. So good luck with studying, and I hope you join our live Daf Shvui class.